Hi, welcome back to Americans Talk FPL. I'm your host, Jason. My co host, Barat, could not be here tonight, unfortunately. So, all my opinions are going to go completely unchecked and unargued. So, feel free to challenge me in the comments as needed. Before I begin today, I just want to quickly shout out Fantasy Football Scout. We're proud to be a member of their Scout Academy. I highly recommend you go to their site and become a member if you haven't already, as their membership data is second to none in my opinion, and I use it every week, and that's how I get my green arrows. So let's dive into game week 32, coming off of kind of a rough game week 31 for me. We'll go to my team real quick. So game week 31, I only had 41 points, kind of rough. I dropped from about, I think, 35K down to 50K, so not great for me. I was really hoping to get in the top 20K this year. Top 10 was kind of my stretch goal, but probably unrealistic. So I'm kind of swimming upstream right now on that. A little unlucky with Aaron Cresswell going off injured. That could be that's a bit of a worry going forward. We don't have an update on his injury yet. I would assume he's going to miss at least a few weeks, but hopefully we'll hear something concrete before the game week begins. Good goal for Son against Man United. I think him and Kane are in pretty good form going into the double game week. Ollie Watkins popped up with another goal. He just keeps performing, even though his underlying stats have almost disappeared completely with Grealish out. So I'm just glad he's still kind of hanging around. I always mean to transfer him out of my team, but some other thing comes up, so he just keeps hanging around. But he's kind of slowly trickling in the return, so I can't complain too much. Good to have Salah back. I captained him. He got a nice goal. Other than that, not a whole lot to talk about here. So, with that being said, just thinking about my team for this game week 32, what I'm going to do next. I think my move right now, as I kind of await news, Rafinha did pick up a knock. I think he's going to play this week, but it's kind of up in the air right now. So I'm banking on him playing. I'm going to keep him in my squad for now. So I'm thinking my move right now would probably be Bamford to Iheanacho. And that's my one free transfer I can use. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. But I'm just going to get into a little bit more on the fixtures and some of the other players in my watch list as well to give you some other options. So here's the upcoming schedule. Some of the teams I really like. I think Arsenal is a great fixture list to close out the year. They do have the Europa League they're focusing on completely, so rotation is an issue. But it's hard to argue with their fixtures right now. Everton, a couple tough matches coming up, 2 in a row, but then they will have a double game week at some point, and they have a pretty nice fixture run during 34 to 37. And they're playing for a spot in Europe right now, so they still have a lot to play for, so that's pretty interesting. Leeds have a really tough schedule right now, so I wouldn't be opposed to either transferring out or benching your Leeds players for a few weeks, but then they finish up with 3 solid game weeks, so they could be interesting down the stretch. Leicester, these next 4 game weeks are hard to really compete with at all. These are really top fixtures, both offensively and defensively, so they're definitely a team to look into. Liverpool have a fantastic schedule to close out the year and a lot to play for, so I really love investing in them right now. Spurs have the double this week, obviously, which is huge, and they have a blank in 33, so you'll have to navigate around that. But then coming out of the blank, they have a pretty strong schedule to finish the year, and they're still fighting for Europe as well. And then Wolves, still have a nice upcoming 4 games when Pedro Neto got injured in the last match. He was the primary offensive asset I was interested in. Defensively, they've been a little bit shaky, so I'm kind of out on Wolves for right now. Adama Traore did finally score his first goal of the year, so he could be an interesting punt, but not one that I'm personally going to be taking. All right, so let's move on to my watch list. So a lot of this kind of goes hand in hand with the upcoming fixtures, but I like Nathaniel Phillips a lot at Liverpool. He's a very nice budget enabler at 4.1. He looks pretty locked into their starting 11 now, and with a lot to play for and a good schedule, he could get some nice clean sheet points and allow you to kind of upgrade elsewhere. Same in that budget category, Rob Holding at Arsenal. Arsenal don't have a whole lot of fit center backs at the moment, so he seems pretty locked in right now. And with their nice schedule and him being pretty cheap is a good option. Leicester for the next 4 have, the top fixtures in the league, I would say. They have a lot of defensive assets, but I like Fofana the best, I think. He's probably the cheapest route to get into their defense from an everyday perspective. And there's just a little bit of uncertainty with their wingbacks. Ricardo Pereira, he is playing a bit more often now, but he was kind of getting eased back into it following his ACL injury and his slow comeback from that. And Timothy Castagne also just came back from injury. But for me, I'd rather go security of starts and hope for the clean sheet points. That's why I'm going with Fofana. Chelsea defenders are always a great option for Azpilicueta or Mendy. Granted, their kind fixture run's starting to come to an end, and they're in the semifinals of the Champions League, so rotation is going to be definitely happening there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, although he's kind of been defensively poor of late, his offensive output has been great. He scored in the last game week following some strong underlying stats, so I think he was a great option for Liverpool in that stretch run. Another guy I want to call out, obviously, is Kelechi Iheanacho. He's been on fire recently. Had another 2 goals in this past game week. I think unless something big happens between this filming and the start of the game week, he'll be my transfer in this week, probably for Bamford, because I definitely want to get him in for these next 4 weeks. Richarlison, I'm not doing anything with him right now. Once Everton hits that nice upcoming 4 fixtures and possible double game week, I think he's a good option to look into, especially with Calvert-Lewin injured right now. Alexander Lacazette, been on fire recently, just scored again in the Europa League today. Assuming he doesn't get rotated, which is an issue with Arsenal and them kind of prioritizing Europa League. With Arsenal's strong fixtures and his form right now, I think he's a great differential to be had. And Jamie Vardy, I'm a little bit down on him right now. I think Iheanacho is definitely the one to own there. If you want to do a double up, that wouldn't be the worst idea for the next couple of weeks. But personally, I'm just going to go Iheanacho and just have him by himself for my Leicester attack. All right, so the Game Week 32 checklist, 5 ways to get green arrows. Easy one, get your Spurs in right now. I think a minimum of 2, with those being Kane and Son, is kind of what I'm looking at. If you want to get a defensive asset in, I don't love their defense right now, but I think Reguilon could be interesting with, I think Ben Davies is injured right now, and Reguilon offers a pretty good attacking output, because I don't really trust Spurs with the clean sheets at this point. Other teams to target, we kind of looked at this on the fixture list, but Liverpool, Tottenham, and Leicester all have a lot to play for and great upcoming schedules right now. West Ham defense, I'm pretty afraid of right now with Declan Rice out, and now Cresswell likely being injured. I'm still waiting to hear back on him, but at this point, Lingard's still probably a good investment. He is way outperforming his expected goals, but sometimes, form matters more right now with only a few weeks left. So while he's going to average out probably over the long run, if you want to hop on the train right now and just try and capitalize on his hot streak, it's not a bad idea. I just don't know that, he's going to keep this up next year, for example. But at least for right now, he's got the hot boots. It's not a bad idea to just ride that train while you can. For me personally, I don't really have a way to get him in my squad unless I get out of Jota or one of my heavy hitters, which I don't want to do. So that's why he's out for me. City, I'm definitely kind of getting out of them as much as I can. They're going to have heavy rotation that we've already seen. No one's safe. Not even Ruben Diaz is safe anymore. So that's why I'm kind of out on them. Captaincy this week, I think easy call, Kane or Son. I personally am going to triple captain Kane. I don't think we're going to get a better week to triple captain anyone at this point. I mean, it's possible, but this is almost about as guaranteed as it gets. So definitely going Kane. If you want to go Son kind of as a differential, it's not a bad idea. He's had pretty good underlying stats and scored recently. And, he completely thrashed Southampton earlier this season, which is the second of their doubleheader. So either way, it's probably a good option, but personally, I'm going to go Kane. I think he has the best underlying stats of the two for sure. and he's on penalty kicks. I just trust him a little bit more. So who are my top overall recommendations for the next 4 game weeks? Easy ones: Harry Kane, Mo Salah, Bruno Fernandes. Those are all easy calls for me. My top differentials. So we had some success this last week with Kelechi Iheanacho, who now is owned over 10%, so he had to fall off. Pedro Neto was also on here, but he got injured, obviously, so that was unfortunate. So Rudiger kept his place. I think he's a great option right now with that Chelsea defense. He's pretty locked into the lineup. Not as much as Azpilicueta, but he's also a lot cheaper, so that's why I like him a little bit more. But Alexander Lacazette has now made the list. He's on fire. Arsenal have great fixtures, but rotation is a worry there. But the amount of potential he has is hard to ignore. And then, as I previously mentioned, Wesley Fofana. I just like him for being cheap and locked into Leicester's defense for these next 4 game weeks. He doesn't have the same attacking potential as Pereira or Castagne, but for me, just that security is what I want. So last slide, just a quick update in our league. It looks like we already have a winner here with Andromeda FC. 2148 points so far. It's going to be a mountain to climb. I'm almost at 2K right now, but I don't think I have a chance, so I'm just playing for second place at this point. So that's all we have for this week. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put that in the comments on YouTube or follow us on Twitter. You can hit us up on there as well. We like to respond to any requests there. So that's all we have this week.